Great thing here. Let's start with the producer, Galen Sussman. Please welcome. The director, all the way from Arkansas or someplace like that, Steve Purcell. Come on up, Steve. And finally, please welcome head of story, San Diego's own Derek Thompson. Now, I gotta say, you know, watching all of these clips, it's always fun to kind of revisit that stuff, but most companies and most people, when they're starting out, they start with shorts, they graduate to specials, and then next thing you know, they're tapped to do a big feature film. But it didn't quite happen that way with Pixar, did it? It was a little backwards. How did it work out? You want to explain?
Thumbs up, yeah, so I joined Pixar about 24 years ago, and right then we were starting on the commercial animation division, but we knew we really wanted to do a feature film, and thought, logically, that we would start with a television special. And so we made a test that we called Tin Toy Christmas, which we thought we would shop around and see if we could get somebody to sponsor us to do a television special. So we're going to take a quick look at that.
Woody.
Yeah, so Woody and actually Buzz was for a while Lunar Larry, and then Tempest on War, and went through several incarnations. But we went ahead and we showed this around, and Disney was crazy enough to say, you know what, just skip all that and just straight to doing feature. And so we did, and many feature films later, it was not until we decided we were going to do Toy Story of Terror. I don't know if you all saw that.
Yeah, I'm sorry that original those films didn't work out for you guys. But Toy Story Terror was a blast to be a part of. It was fun to be kind of a part of a special that was sort of associated with Halloween. You know, when I was growing up, I loved the specials associated with holidays. It was so fantastic. And now we have a Christmas special, right? Christmas special with dinosaurs. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but maybe you can explain either.
Well, coming off of Brave, I had a chance to work on a Toy Story short, and it was meant to be a 6-minute short. And the premise was that Bonnie takes a couple of her toys, Trixie and Rex, over to her friend's house and leaves them in the playroom while she's playing in the other room with her friend Mason. And in the playroom, they encounter this band of hostile kind of gladiator dinosaur toys. They're immediately taken captive. Turns out these toys don't know they're toys. They haven't been played with because the kid has been focused on his video game in the other room. And they're taken to dino jail. And later on, Trixie has to battle the leader, Repulus Maximus, in the arena of woe. So John was really taken with these characters. We call them battle swords. And he asked me to kind of draw out the backstory and the lore and create this little piece that kind of explains as if they were like a real toy line or an animated series or something. So we spent some time creating this little piece that sort of is our first stab at what the lore of these guys is.
Just for me, lean into the mic and do that voice. As is written in the ancient texts. I think you should do the rest of this like that.
All right, Michael. What would you like to know?
What I'd like to know, you know what's interesting about the whole sort of the story aspect of this? This is the first time our Toy Story characters find themselves in someone else's universe. You know, normally they're kind of mixed in their own little mythologies, but they're going full bore into someone else's world. So how did that happen, and what are the character connections that make that work?
Well, actually, yeah, we started before we even got a chance to finish the short version, the 60-minute version. John came to me and he said, you know, these characters need more screen time. Why don't you make a half-hour show, put Woody and Buzz in it, and make it take place around Christmas? And we said, well, hell yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And so at that point I brought Derek Thompson in as my head of story, and we started growing this story and started creating the additional characters, sort of fleshing out these background characters and these the heroes and the new ones that were going to be integral to the story. So I'll let Derek talk about the new characters that are coming up.
So Steve and I were diving into restructuring the 6-minute special to inhabit a half-hour special. We're making some significant story changes. We also really dove into this exercise in world building. And one of the first things we did is we looked at all the characters and we started redesigning and thinking about the world as an immaculate reality. I mean, as absurd and silly as the battle swords were, we wanted there to be a cohesive thinking behind it. And John has always been very excited in the Toy Story world when the toys and the toy lines and the details and the truths of the toys are very thought through. We wanted to have answers for the questions. Why are they fighting? Where do they come from? Who are they fighting against? And so on. So we rolled up our sleeves and dove into an intensive period of world building. So we started with a hierarchical approach to the battle swords, and with the most intelligent and most highly seated in the culture are the clerics. Now these are the spiritual leaders, the Caesars, the popes, as it were, of this strange world. They commune with the distant dream elders, which are nebulous beings that transmit guidance to the battle swords. We gave the cleric 3 acolytes. They're sort of marble clerics that are in training. And the cleric is a very complex character. He's not pure evil or pure good, and he has the interests of the society in mind as a priority. The next most intelligent battle sword is Raygon. We redesigned Raygon, we made him a bit shorter, and we decided he should have 2 brains. And he's in charge of armoring the battle swords. He sizes up the different species, because the battle swords are very different. They've been irradiated by the Zeta rays, and they've mutated out of the traditional dinosaur form into these strange shapes. So Raygon is very good at sizing up the shapes of the battle swords and appropriately gearing them up. We also have a lot of warriors in the culture. There's several tiers of battle hardy battle swords. On the left are the Elysian Guards. These are the females of the species. They are very elegant and tall, and we looked at a lot of Maasai warrior and Kendo fighting styles. Early in animation, we were seeing some really great stuff using those fighting styles. The Raptorian Guard on the right are our most ubiquitous battle sword. These are the battle swords a la Stormtroopers or your Cobra Infantry and G.I. Joe. They would come with every playset. They look exactly alike, and there's variants in their armor and stuff, but they're basically the most populous battle sword. They have hounds that they hunt and fight with, and for some reason the hounds actually stay very close to the Dimetrodon anatomy. For some reason they were hit with less Zeta rays than the rest. Next up we have the Brutes. These are the least intelligent of the battle swords. These are our sort of heavy lifters. They'll pull the weaponry around, they'll open gates, they drag larger beasts from place to place, and they carry absurdly proportioned weapons. We spent an entire day with Story and Art and Mark Andrews, who's a weapons specialist, and brainstormed battle sword weaponry, and it was a hilarious 6 hours of brainstorming. And then the big complication for the battle swords in this world are the Outland Beasts. This is the Goliathon. He's our hero Outland Beast and our sort of closest to our heart. We liked the idea early on that rather than a typical He-Man, Thundercats kind of model where there's an arch-villain bad guy that shows up every week, we liked the idea that the world itself, this rogue world that has been ruptured by Zeta rays, has created the obstacle for the battle swords. Their deal is they are trying to survive in a world that would crush them. And so all of the Zeta rays outside of Battleopolis have irradiated these beasts. So it was a tribute to Godzilla and kaiju stuff that we love. And the Goliathon has a Zeta breath weapon. He's been captured by the battle swords, collared by Raygon, and is kept as a fighting beast for the Arena of Woe, where our champion, Reptilus Maximus showcases his prowess. Reptilus is from the champion class, the gladiatorial school of Battlesaurs. He is both refined culture, charm, wit, and audacity. He is also the wielder of the mighty Star Talon, which is a sacred weapon in the Battlesaurs, and he is our co-star in the show.
Are you getting all this, Michael?
Okay, so what you're telling me basically is that there are no nerds or geeks at Pixar?
Nope.
None. Very straight. Okay. Just want to get that straight. So, okay, our main character.
Days work.
You mentioned sort of a pair of two characters.
Yeah, this guy Reptilus is one of our new. He has the most lines in the show, and the most.
Is that what makes a main character? You have the most lines.
He's got of the new Battlesaurs. He's the most important of them.
Damn. All right.
And he's played by Kevin McKidd. Some of you may know Kevin McKidd. HBO Rome miniseries. He helped us out on Brave as Lord MacGuffin and Lord MacGuffin's incomprehensible son, young MacGuffin.
Don't forget the Great Dog Soldiers. If you've never seen Kevin in a younger role, Neil Marshall, great werewolves versus soldiers in the Scottish Highland movie. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, also, he plays guitar and he sings in a pub on a weekly basis. No joke, the guy is amazing. He's an amazing singer. I kid you not.
Yeah. So our other main character from the Toy Story world in this one is Trixie. Trixie is actually the one that kind of takes us into this.
So how did you decide on kind of, talk a little bit about how you decide on which character would kind of be the focus and why?
Trixie felt like she had this kind of explorative spirit, this kind of this charm to her, and we were sort of looking at the old footage and like what she had done in the other shows, and she just had this potential of being this really charming character to bring into the Battlesaurus world.
Because I love that idea, because the obvious choice clearly would have been Rex, but to choose Trixie, fantastic.
Yeah, and she not only gets to immerse herself in the Battlesaur world, she gets to actually be a Battlesaur during this.
It would be so cool. It would just be so awesome if she could be here.
You know what? I think I saw her walking by.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Shaw. Kristen, so with all those characters, all those great characters, they picked you. Now, was there bribery involved? Did money change hands? I mean, because you're beating out Don Knotts, you're beating out Wallace Shaw, all these guys. What was that all about?
Don Knotts.
Don Knotts. Yeah, you know.
I guess that
Yeah.
means easy to beat out.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
You know what I mean?
you think about Don Rickles?
Yeah, Don Rickles. Boy, I'm gonna get a phone call now. I'll give him free tickets to the Star Trek concert. It'll all be good.
I just sort of imagine, like, if we wanted to feature Woody, if you want Tom Hanks, who's really busy, but I am completely available for all the voiceover sessions at any time of the day they wanted me, I was around. So it's pretty smart, I think, if you're going to cast someone who's not a mega movie star, and they'll come to every VO session you want. When you want it.
Now, when you're
We're
preparing,
a dog.
They really did. They worked me harder at Pixar than anywhere else.
they were really mean
It's
there.
horrible.
They're horrible people.
They're like the Kubricks of
So, preparing to be a dinosaur. You look in the mirror, do you aware of yourself? Do you look through old books? Do you get your old dinosaur toys out if you have any? How does it work for you?
Well, I guess my touchstone is, dinosaurs, the extinction, they're gone. And for Trixie, like, knowing that, I think that she survived, she just has a carefree attitude now.
She's gonna live life.
Survive the ultimate destruction, yeah.
Now it's all about just just living your life.
Just enjoy life. Yeah.
What about, as you have a dinosaur, what about a Battlesaur? Is there any kind of a change in the personality that happens when you don all of that equipment?
Yeah, then you're ready to destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really competitive. Although Trixie, she doesn't really have that in her. But she loves the outfit. I mean, come on. She looks amazing.
I'm a little confused. So, by the way, I have not agreed to actually score this thing yet. I was going to see how this goes. See how you like it. And then we'll talk about it afterwards. But so far you kept saying Christmas special, Christmas special. I really clearly don't understand how this is a Christmas special. So enlighten me.
Yeah, me neither. Oh, we were hoping you'd say. We're going to show you some little moments from this show. We're not going to show the whole thing, we'll give you a taste of it. And this is all work in progress. So we have the lighting unfinished, and we don't have a fantastic score, Michael Shikino. Hopefully he'll agree to do this by the end. But yeah, we have the original cast members. As you can see on the screen, we have Don Knotts, Wallace Shawn, we have Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, we have Timothy Dalton, and Joan Cusack, and our little new character, Angel Kitty. She's a little ornament, so she's sort of the Christmas spirit that goes with us on the adventure. So we all know, I'll just set up the first clip. We all know that the Toy Story gang lives at Bonnie's house, and at Bonnie's house, playtime is like improv, and you never know what the role is you're going to get next. And so Trixie's been lamenting that she never gets to be a dinosaur. She realized she feels like a dinosaur, but she never gets to play one at Bonnie's house. And it's a couple days after Christmas, and Bonnie takes a few of the toys. Trixie, Rex, Woody, and Buzz, and the little Angel Kitty ornament. She goes over to her friend Mason's house, and Mason has this amazing playroom. She expects to find him in there, but he's not in there. He's playing with his new Christmas present across the hall. So that's where we'll start the clip.
Yeah, that's my first time.
Oh, and reactions?
I wanted to see the
Notes?
whole thing. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
So you don't want to pull your name off the project?
No,
You're in?
no,
Great.
I'll do another interview.
What do we have up next?
Yeah, so the next, when these characters get together, the sparks fly, and, these Trixie and Reptilis together, they just have chemistry right away, and their moment is interrupted by this creepy cleric character that comes in. You can see him on the right side of the screen there. And he just wants the Toy Story characters out of there. And Reptilis, our hero, stands up for the dinosaurs. He says, "Are dinosaurs not welcome to our great city, wise cleric?" And the cleric comes around,
Fine, have them made presentable. I find their lack of armor disturbing.
So we go off to the next play set, which we call the Armory, where we find Rhaegon.
Okay, still in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even more. Now I want to buy stock in this.
Michael, are you still in?
I'm in. Actually, we were talking earlier, musically deciding, trying to what to do. So I called up one of my percussionists that we just finished Planet of the Apes on, and he played with the original Planet of the Apes. His name is Emil Richards. And he played, the horn for that thing? He has the original horn that he played on the original Planet of the Apes movie. So we're going to use it in this. Yes, I'm as much of a nerd and a geek as anyone else here, so I admit it. Yeah, so there you have it. Horns, yay! And what was it like working with Don Knotts? Can you talk about that?
I asked him about, working in Mayberry and all this. Got a lot of great stories about it.
It's great to see he's doing well. Okay, thanks.
So our characters, Reckless takes Trixie on a walking tour of his city, showing all the play sets with great pride. It's like they're walking through the streets of Manhattan. And as most first dates end up, he sings a beautiful song at the end on the balcony of his Volcano Command base. And so we have a little bit of footage of the song that's in progress. Michael, hopefully, will finish the
Yeah, I think what you're going to hear is just the lyrics and the vocals, but there will be music behind it at some point, so. So ridiculous. But come on, you love those old like cartoon themes from especially like the 80s. Those are fantastic. With the hairband style, it's so good.
all the dinosaurs around join in with this giant Broadway musical number, knowing their theme song from their series, so it's just hardwired into them. So shortly after that, the Dream Elder Tower activates, and we hear the voice of the Dream Elder suspended in there, yelling out and calling the Battlesaurs, "Time for battle! Time for battle!" And all the Battlesaurs race to the arena of woe.
So that explains the Christmas connection. Got it. So,
We're pretty excited to be able to announce that this is going to premiere on ABC on December 2nd.
but more importantly, if anyone's ever seen my office, I have toys everywhere. So, am I going to be able to have Battlesaurs on my shelf?
Toys. Yes! Stella's coming through with a full line of the 4-inch action figures. We've got Rex in battle gear and Trixie in battle gear. And of course, Reckless Maximus. Moving on, we've got the Cleric, great, and Raptorian Guard. And last but not least, the live bond as well will open if you would like to stick one of the toys inside.
Or your little sister's fingers. Excellent. All right, so I think let's give these guys a big hand here. There's nothing like coming out talking about something you haven't done yet. So anyway, so let's have some questions and hopefully some answers. So I think we can line up here at the mic and we'll just kind of go through. And I think for the first 10 people who line up, I'm not going to say it until everyone lines up. No, just for the first 10 we have autograph. What do they call autograph tickets? Right? So you make sure that you'll be able to get your poster autographed and we'll take care of that. And we'll give you instructions on that later. So, okay, sir, your name and your social security number.
Okay, I would like to thank all the Toy Story series that since I was a kid, I wanted the Rex, what part of the Rex should make. And thank you all for making all the prehistoric figures, like everything, that's all I wanted. So here's one of my questions for everybody. How does it feel, I forgot the new character, how did they feel Trixie, when he saw Rex? Do you think he was jealous about it, or did he fell in love with him?
Oh, when Trixie saw Reptilius
Fall in
Maximus?
love with him.
Oh, I think she was definitely in awe of him, and maybe there was some love there. And I don't think Rex was jealous. I think Rex and Trixie have always just been friends, like brother, sister kind of thing.
What was interesting about this show, which we rarely get to put the actors together, we usually record them months apart, but we got to have a session with Kristen and Kevin together. And it was really great to have their banter back and forth.
Yeah, Kevin decided just to tell Grey's Anatomy to screw it and came on over and it was great. He's got a real silky voice and if you have a Scottish accent, you know, and you live in this country, I would say don't lose it, you know, keep it up, it's
Do you
great.
remember Holden's voice?
Velvety, a cavern of velvet.
Okay, next question. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lexi. I heard Toy Story, but if there was going to be a Toy Story 4, would the characters from this special be in it?
Wow, there's a lot of ifs in there. You know, it's impossible to know. We love all of our Toy Story characters, so who knows what we'll do next and what we'll make and who will be in it. I think the only guarantees are usually the core gang. But yeah, we love them all. We'll just keep trying to come up with ways to keep them alive for you.
I'm just gonna say yes. There will be a fourth movie and they're all gonna be in it.
Yeah, and I want to vote for a Combat Carl movie. I'm with you. All right. Hello.
Hello. I just want to say, like, I actually found out about this project through the fantastic poster you guys posted online by Mike, and I'm just wondering how you were to, you know, contact him or like. Oh, yep. Thank you.
Yeah, do you want his, we have his phone number. We can-
Okay.
How did it come about? Well, one of our guys in the design department actually thought that Mike might be a good choice to do a poster for us. And, you know, I went to school with Mike and we drove down here to Comic-Con in 1982 together in my 66 Barracuda. And stayed at the Pickwick Hotel, and we drove all night so we could save $60 for the first night. But I've known Mike for a long time, but for whatever reason it never occurred to me to ask him to do a poster, so it's great that it came from Pixar. And we just kind of got out of the way and let him do his version of what the characters look like. So we're really excited that he was able to do that for us.
Do you know where we can get one?
Well, actually we do. At the ABC booth, they are going to start handing them out at the conclusion of this panel.
Yeah, after this panel, you'll be able to
It's a
get
limited
it.
edition, so, but you can't get them before. So I'd say after the panel, you might want to scoot a little bit faster than a slow walk.
It's at booth 4245, I believe. All right. Next up is...
Hi. First off, fantastic clips you guys showed. I'm very much looking forward to it. And congratulations, Steve, on getting a director's gig. I've been a big fan of yours since Sam and Max first came out. I know you mentioned that Kevin McKidd is voicing Maximus. Can you guys reveal any other voice actors you guys contacted to play some of the other characters, like the cleric?
Steve is the cleric.
I just kept doing the voice in the scratch reel, and John Lasseter said, "You're playing the cleric here." You know, so it's great to have him tell me that I had to play my own character.
We did consider Werner Herzog for Angel Kitty, but we never reached out to him.
Or Alec Baldwin.
We wanted to have a range of vocal possibilities, but we ended up with Ernest Child voice as opposed to a German eccentric filmmaker. But Steve did a pretty good Werner impersonation during editorial sessions, and it was hard to ignore the power.
Be grateful for your gifts. They are all around you.
Not nearly as charming.
Hello. Hi, my name's Eric. I had a question for you, Steve. How was it coming off of Brave, coming onto this? You know, it's a 30-minute film, and so, you know, was the process different, and also playing a character you developed? How was it about that?
It was very different. Brave was a long production, as we know. It went on for a long time, and you know, the material's a little heavier, and so to come onto this, it was in the shorts group, and it was really great for me to go into this group where things are being turned around very rapidly. And so, like, I had a beat pass of this story, the short version of the story, pretty quickly, and then, you know, I'd hear, okay, next week you're gonna pitch this to John Lasseter. What, next week, really? Like, because that's, you know, working on a feature, that's not quite the case. You're generally, there's longer times between the reviews, and so oh, okay, I'm pitching at John Lasser next week, and then, okay, and then the week after you've got Pete boards, and then, so it was a very quick process and lots of turnaround and lots of kind of decisions being made rapidly, and also I got to use all my goofy muscles, which was great, you know, trying to, write the Toy Story characters. There's a little ramp up for me, like just to get to know their personalities, because I haven't worked with them before, but to create the new characters was just a joy because, just make them strange as I wanted to. So that was really satisfying for me. And to play a character in it was really super exciting. And get to play alongside.
It's the best, isn't it, to play a character?
There was something really great about that short form, just remembering that those first few months in development with Steve. When we're working on features, we're often on projects for many, many, many years at a time. And you do sort of, things balloon and you lose focus, and there's something about that short form and the frequency of those reviews that lends a discipline to it. And Steve and I were able to road test a lot of things fast and get them in front of Andrew and John fast, and it was refreshing. It's like if you've ever gone from a feature, writing a novel to writing a short story, it's like, it's a really fresh, revitalizing mix into the process.
We also had the commercial breaks to build in, and that sort of forced a act break structure on us, which was actually really informative and helped us keep on track, because we always knew we had to get to a little bit of a cliffhanger every few minutes.
Yeah, John always had his eye on the last word of every commercial break and what, that getting that rhythm. And interestingly, for those of you who study or look at screenplay or story structure, the act breaks land really organically. So we were still sort of taking the 21-minute and 30-second piece and building it like a 3-act movie with a midpoint in the second act, where you just saw at Time for Battle, the story shifts in tone, and it was a good exercise.
So, Derek Thompson here had a story. Your first Comic-Con was what year?
1978.
Come on, how about that? 1978, little kid, and now here he is up here talking to everyone else. I think that's fantastic. Hey, how are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, I love Toy Story. The only thing that featured that in it, or that guy was like golf balls. Okay. It's not like Toy Story, like, about Woody. It would be a good idea, like, even though it may not be for the rest, but like his backstory, like, because he was a family toy. Like a pretty
For Reptilius?
No, Woody.
Oh, Woody, his backstory.
Yeah, in the sequel, the second film, Andy's mom said he was a family toy.
Right.
Like with Andy. Like a little bit more of his background.
Well, I'd like to know a little more of the background of Woody. Where's he from?
Like might be his father or his mother or...
Who did he belong to in the family? These are the questions.
All I remember about him is that he was Andy's father's toy.
Yeah.
But beyond that, actually, I don't remember what the backstory is. I'm sorry.
So it'll be good, like, kind of a little short, like a flashback, but it's kind of going to be too complicated because Toy Story's about a whole game. I didn't answer my own question, thank you.
A lot of speculation online how all these toys are sort of interlocked.
Yeah,
It's fascinating to read those.
Some of them are actually pretty convincing when you read them. You're like, well, that's actually pretty good. Yes?
First of all, I want to say I really love Angel Cake, and I would really love to see a little doll. Yes. But I noticed. I noticed in the clip that the toys were excited about a play date, as opposed to what we've seen in the past, where they did get to play with Andy and then with Bonnie. They were like, oh, we get to play with the toys. Is that kind of a evolution of the storyline that you're going with?
There, could you repeat the part about excited about the play date?
Playing with other toys as opposed to playing with Andy or Bonnie.
Oh, for us, it felt like in the story that they were just resigned to the fact that, oh, okay, I guess the kids are occupied elsewhere, so we'll just go hang out with our friends, because they had been to this room before, and And so that's why Trixie's going, well, where's Sockhaven, the Little Wrestlers, and the Eco-Force Gang, which all those characters have backstories, by the way. The Eco-Force Gang is a real thing that we had in the story in a big way, and sort of fell out along the way. But they just expected to, you know, okay, well, I guess we have the afternoon to kill, so what do? We'll go visit our pals in the slave room. But they're not here. Uh-oh. Oh.
Thank you. Hello.
And I'm thinking to myself, this is so amazing. It's better than any film I've seen theatrically all
I agree with you.
Chiquito's 40. Amazing. But yeah, so is there ever a thought process where it's almost too good, where you like, can this be a feature? Or do you know,
too good for TV? Yeah, it's too
too
good.
good maybe for 21 minutes, where it could be, you know, the backstories are so expansive. You know,
So what do you say? Tear it apart, make it longer? 90 minutes?
Okay, go ahead and talk. Let's do that.
Again,
After the
Toy Story
panel.
4.
For us, we just thought about it like a feature, like an epic saga, and for us, it was like, how do we squeeze it down into 21 and a half? And because all the set pieces we wanted ended up in it, like all the stuff the storyboard guys drew. Early on, we'd say, oh, well, like he drew too many people in that arena, and then it's like, oh, wow, we have all those characters are in the arena. How did that happen? And so it's like we got everything we imagined. And also, you know, we're trying to shoot this like a science fiction movie where once Trixie becomes immersed in the world, it's almost like you're seeing it through her fever dream of being immersed in this space, and we actually let the windows go away, and John Lasseter was actually encouraging us to do even more, like let the atmosphere come forward, let the play sets feel like real, like, you know, real structures, and that the mountain range that's made of cardboard is kind of going back into the mist, and so we're totally immersed in this world, and just it's kind of a homage to all our favorite, you know, science fiction movies.
Which of course gave us license to have research screenings. We had extensive research, genre research screenings for our story team, for our animators to kind of, you know, the prerequisite films that anybody working on the show had to watch, and it was very illuminating. But it was fun because we grew up cutting our teeth on this stuff, and so to be able to bring the kind of material and the quality of the filmmaking into this world of Toy Story was a real treat.
So this was a boondoggle, is what you're saying? Yes, excellent.
Well, thanks for keeping the world in mind with Toy Story. Visiting the characters and meeting new friends every year. Thanks.
Thanks for your question.
Hello, Michael. First off, I want to give you another shout out for your concerts. I'm going to be there. I'm very excited. Everyone, come to the Star Trek concert.
I didn't pay him anything, I swear.
No, but my question is for the entire panel, and it's very important to me. If Don Knotts hadn't been dead for almost a decade, now, what kind of toy would he play?
The mailman. We used to have a mailman in the arena.
The first movie I ever saw in the theater, I think, was Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Who would have thought of something if there was a Don Knotts?
I'm always thinking about Don Knotts, that's why I just slipped out.
Maybe like a Jack in the Box.
Thank you, Mary.
I'm sorry we didn't have any winner.
Where did you get the idea for Toy Story?
The idea for Toy Story.
For the original Toy Story? I think most of it comes just from our love of toys, and the idea really was just about what do toys do when the kids aren't around, and everything kind of blossomed from that original idea. And I think all of them have, you know, that at the core, and then generationally, it's sort of, if you think about the films, it's a lot of telling stories about the kinds of things that we're thinking about, that we're caring about relationships, about growing older, about, you know, all those kinds of things. So it's combining things that we're thinking about and things that we're experiencing
take? Like the anime and the voice and how long would it take to put all together?
All the different parts take different amounts of time. For this one, since it was shorter, 3 years. Is that me doing that? It's the plate in my skull. It's setting up. Yeah, this one is a little shorter, but we tend to spend the most time in story because the more time we can spend figuring out the story, the less time we spend paying lots of expensive resources to be building things we're not going to use. So we wanted to make sure the story is right before we move forward and start putting things in layout and animation. So the story process tends to go on for a big chunk of
The
it.
story for this show, it had, if you include the stuff you guys were doing before I started, is about 2 years of story work. It's only one of the-
Usually about half of the time is spent with story, just designing characters and environments and whatnot, and editorial, because editorial takes that story and builds the reels and stretch dialogue and put all that together. And so we spend, for whatever duration it is, we usually spend about half of that with just those crews before we start putting on anybody to build characters or sets or anything like that. So for
So it
short-
takes as long as you've been alive.
Thank you. Hi.
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 You're going to get another plug again. I'm actually singing with the Star Trek chorus.
You're in the choir?
Yes.
Are you going to wear this?
No. They wouldn't let me. But music is beautiful, and I think that music is such an important part of telling a story. And so I'm curious about the collaborative process of what you're doing when you go to write a score for something like this. How much is it just kind of you taking the story and going off and doing your own thing, and how much of it is working together as a team?
Well, first of all, let's be honest. I really never know what I'm doing. It's always just sort of like putting out your best guess. You're always just hoping it's right. But what I try to do is understand the characters. And as opposed to looking at a scene for what the action that is taking place, I look at it for what is that person, that character feeling. And that's where I go, right there. Like, what is Trixie feeling at that moment? Is she afraid? Is she sad? Because you could have a chase scene, and you could score it like a chase scene. It could just be a lot of action music. Or it could be something that's incredibly sad. It all depends on what the context and subtext of the scene is, what are the characters thinking and feeling. So that's where I go first. And from there, it's just about sort of, mapping that out across the film. Now, we sit together and we watch it, and we talk about, the music can start here, it can end here, and we talk about different emotional aspects of it. A lot of it is seriously not talking about music, it's talking about emotions, and it's talking about storytelling. I mean, that's really what it's about. Rarely do we ever mention the word French horn or violin or anything. It's always just about the music that feels frightening or scary. So that's...
We do say Planet of the Apes horns.
Well, we say Planet of the Apes horns a lot. We like Planet of the Apes horns. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think we have two more questions here, I think.
My question is that in the toy clip, there was Woody and Buzz. They both have armor on, but does the ornament get armor? Because if so, I would really like to see that.
Angel Kitty doesn't need armor. She's armored with goodness.
She's the spiritual counterpoint to the clerics. So.
With goodness, you heard it here first.
When is there gonna be a Easter holiday for Toy Story?
We're going to do an Easter special.
There you go. I don't know, but we'll take that back home and talk about it. Great idea.
All right, thank you so much. Thank everyone for coming out here today, especially want to thank my friends from Pixar. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget, those posters are over at the ABC booth, booth 4245. And have a great day, have a great Comic-Con. Thanks for coming.